We live in a world that's constantly demanding our attention. There's always noise, the noise of expectations, of responsibilities, of distractions. We're constantly told that success is a product of loud declarations, big moves, and rapid results. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly allowed yourself the space to think, to reflect, to work in silence? The truth is, the life you want isn't built in the hustle and bustle of loud, attention-grabbing moments. It's not created by following the crowd or chasing immediate recognition. It's built in the quiet moments, in the consistency of small actions, one step at a time. We're often told to aim for the finish line without considering the journey. But the journey, the one you must embark upon in silence, away from the noise, is where true growth happens. It's in those quiet moments of effort, discipline, and patience that the foundation of your success is laid. The path to the life you want is not marked by instant gratification. It's built step by step, action by action. Each decision you make, every quiet moment of progress, is what creates the future you desire. And while others might look at the results and be impressed, it's important to remember that the real work is happening when no one is watching. It's in the silence. So when you think about the life you want to create, don't get caught up in the noise. Focus on the small, deliberate steps. Embrace the quiet work that you do every day. And know that, in time, the results will speak for themselves. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Everywhere we turn, there's noise, the noise of constant notifications, the pressure to be seen, to be heard, and to keep up with what everyone else is doing. It can feel as if our success, our worth, is determined by how loud we can be, how visible we are, and how quickly we can achieve something that others will notice. But let me tell you something that's often overlooked. The life you want to create, the life that truly matters, is not built in the loud, attention-grabbing moments. It's built in the quiet, behind the scenes, in the moments when no one is watching. Think about it for a second. When you're working on something meaningful, when you're dedicating yourself to building a future you can be proud of, the real progress doesn't happen in front of the crowd. It happens in the silent hours, in the spaces where you're not being celebrated or applauded, in the everyday moments when it feels like no one notices what you're doing. And yet, those moments, those quiet moments, are where the foundation is laid for everything that will come after. There's a profound power in silence, a power that is often misunderstood. We've been conditioned to believe that success must be loud, that to be successful, we must always be visible, always be moving, always be talking. But true success, the kind that lasts, the kind that changes lives, is built step by step, in solitude and in quiet persistence. It's not the grand gestures or the big announcements that change the course of our lives. It's the small, often unseen actions, the quiet choices we make every day, the ones that no one else might ever notice, but which matter more than anything else. Think about the times when you've made the most progress in your life. It's not the times when you've been in the spotlight. It's those moments when you were focused, when you were grinding away, when you were putting in the work without any expectation of immediate recognition. The best progress is made in the silence. The best work is done when you're not seeking approval, not seeking validation. It's in those moments of quiet focus, when you're not distracted by the opinions or expectations of others, that you truly move forward. The loud world we live in often makes it seem like everything has to happen quickly, that success must be instant. But if you want to build something meaningful, something lasting, you need to embrace the quiet moments. You need to stop waiting for the applause and focus on the work itself. When you're working in silence, when you're doing the hard things when no one is watching, that's when real change happens. That's when you're laying the groundwork for everything that will come next. The truth is, success doesn't come from the noise. It comes from the stillness. It comes from the consistent effort, from the patience you show yourself when no one is around to see. So when you're thinking about your future, don't get distracted by the noise of the world. Don't get caught up in the rush to show everyone what you're doing. Instead, focus on the quiet moments, the ones that might feel insignificant, but are the very moments that are shaping the future you want. The life you want to create, the life you want to live, is built not in the noise of others, but in the silence of your own commitment, your own perseverance. So, take a deep breath. Step away from the noise. Embrace the quiet. And remember that the work you do in silence today is what will define your tomorrow. The truth is, we live in a world that celebrates the big, the bold, and the immediate. We are constantly bombarded with stories of overnight success and grand achievements. Social media, news, and even our conversations often highlight those who've made a sudden, dramatic leap. And while there's nothing wrong with celebrating success, we sometimes forget the most important detail. True success is built on small steps taken consistently over time. Too often we look for the shortcut, the hack, the one move that will change everything. We see someone reach a milestone and think, if I could just do what they did, I'd be there too. But the truth is that single moment of success wasn't the result of one big decision or a single action. It was the culmination of countless small, sometimes unnoticed actions taken day after day. It was the hours of work that no one saw, the decisions made in quiet moments, the persistence that led to one step after another. The mistake many of us make is that we focus too much on the outcome, on the end result, and not enough on the process. We think that success is something that happens in a flash, that it's a destination we can reach quickly, and that the journey is just a stepping stone. But success, real success, is about the journey itself. It's about the tiny, consistent actions that we take every single day, even when we feel like nothing is happening. Imagine trying to run a marathon. No one expects to wake up one day, throw on some shoes, and run 26 miles without preparing. If you tried that, you would burn out before you even made it a mile. But the person who successfully runs the marathon understands that every single training session, every single step they take in preparation, no matter how small, is an essential part of the bigger picture. They don't worry about running the full distance on day one. They focus on the small goals, the small victories, like running one more lap, pushing just a little further than yesterday. That's how progress is made. Life works the same way. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture, to look at where we want to be and think we should already be there. But if you focus on the small steps, the individual moments of progress, you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish over time. Every time you take a step, no matter how small, you are moving closer to your goal. And each step, no matter how insignificant it might seem, builds momentum. The key is consistency. It's easy to start something new, but it's much harder to keep going when the results aren't immediate. That's where many of us falter. We start off strong, excited by the possibilities, but when we don't see immediate progress, we start to question ourselves. We wonder if it's worth it, if we'll ever get there. But the truth is, you won't get there by focusing on the result. You get there by focusing on the next step, and then the one after that. It's the small, consistent actions that compound over time to create something far greater than you can imagine. So, next time you feel discouraged, next time you feel like you're not making progress fast enough, remember this: the life you want to create doesn't happen in one big leap. It happens one step at a time. And each step you take, no matter how small it may seem, is bringing you closer to where you want to be. Keep going. Focus on the next step, and trust that, over time, those small steps will add up to something extraordinary. The truth is, consistency is what separates those who achieve great things from those who fall short. It's easy to get excited about a new project or a new goal, but the real work comes in maintaining that excitement, staying focused, and showing up day after day, even when the initial enthusiasm begins to fade. Many people begin their journey with enthusiasm, thinking that success is a one-time event. They start strong, they push hard, and then somewhere along the way they lose steam. They don't realize that success isn't about one big moment of effort, it's about the quiet persistence, the consistent actions that you take, even when it seems like no progress is being made. Consistency is the key to mastery. When you do something every day, even if it's small, even if it feels insignificant, you're building a foundation that will support everything that comes after. It's easy to think that the big moments of success come out of nowhere. We look at people who seem to have made it, and we assume they just got lucky or found the right opportunity at the right time. But what we don't see is all the quiet work they've done behind the scenes, day in and day out. We don't see the years of practice, the hours of effort that no one was watching. We only see the result, the culmination of years of consistent action. When you focus on consistency, you begin to understand that success doesn't come from a single breakthrough. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect idea. It's about showing up every day, even when things aren't perfect, even when you don't feel like it. The discipline to continue working, to keep putting in effort, no matter how small, is what creates real results. Think about any great achievement, whether it's learning a new skill, building a successful business, or even cultivating a meaningful relationship. None of these things happen overnight. They all require continuous effort. When you learn a new skill, you don't become an expert after one practice session. You need to show up, practice consistently, and make small improvements over time. Over the months, and often years, the compound effect of that consistent effort begins to reveal itself. And soon, what once felt impossible becomes second nature. This same principle applies to every area of life. When you show up consistently, when you put in the effort day after day, you create a momentum that carries you forward. Even when it feels like you're not making progress, that quiet consistency is building something profound. It's easy to feel discouraged when the results don't come immediately. But that's the trap, thinking that because you haven't seen dramatic change after a few weeks or months, it means you're not making progress. The truth is, progress is often invisible until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Every little effort counts, even if it feels like it's not making a difference in the moment. So when you're working toward your goal, don't worry if it feels like things are moving slowly. Trust that the consistent effort you're putting in will lead to results. Focus on what you can control today and take one more step toward your goal, even if it's a small one. Keep doing the work, and remember that over time, consistency will create the breakthrough you're looking for. Success isn't about one moment of brilliance. It's about the consistent, quiet actions that you take every single day, even when it seems like no one is paying attention. It's these small, consistent steps that lead to lasting change. Keep showing up and keep taking action, because the results will come one step at a time. Patience is often the hardest virtue to practice. In a world that rewards speed and instant results, we are conditioned to expect things to happen quickly. We want to see immediate changes, and when we don't, it's easy to become frustrated, discouraged, or even give up. But here's the truth: meaningful progress takes time. It's a slow, sometimes painstaking process that demands patience, persistence, and the ability to trust in the journey, even when the end is not in sight. When you start something new, you're filled with excitement. You can see the end result clearly in your mind, and you're eager to get there as fast as possible. But what often happens is that the results aren't immediate. Things don't unfold as quickly as you thought they would. You might even hit setbacks along the way. And in those moments, it's easy to start doubting yourself, to feel like you're not moving fast enough or making enough progress. But this is where patience becomes so important. It's in the moments when you feel like you're not getting anywhere that your commitment is truly tested. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's built through countless hours of effort, through making decisions every day to keep going, even when you don't see immediate results. The world may be speeding ahead, but your path requires you to move at your own pace. Think about nature. Trees don't grow overnight. They take years to reach their full potential, and even when they seem like they're standing still, they're still growing, slowly but surely. Every day they're pushing deeper roots into the earth, stretching their branches higher toward the sky. We don't see this growth happening in real time, but if we look closely, we can see that it's happening steadily every day, no matter the external conditions. In the same way, your growth, your progress may not be visible every single day, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Every effort you make, every step you take, is an investment in your future. And while it may seem like the results are slow to come, they are coming. Progress often happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible to the outside world. Patience is also about understanding that success isn't a linear process. There will be times when things feel stagnant, when you wonder if anything is changing. You might even feel like you're going backward. But this is where resilience comes in. The key is not to rush through the process, but to embrace it, to keep putting one foot in front of the other, trusting that each small step is building towards something greater. So often we get caught up in comparing ourselves to others. We look at where someone else is and think, why aren't I there yet? But the truth is, everyone's journey is different. What works for one person may not work for you, and that's okay. Your path will take the time it needs to take, and that's the beauty of it. It's your journey, your pace, and your progress. If you can embrace patience, not as a passive waiting game, but as an active process of continuing to show up day after day, trusting in the work, you'll find that things start to unfold in ways you never imagined. The results will come, but only if you're willing to let them unfold in their own time without rushing them. The key is to stay committed to the process, even when things seem slow. Understand that every small effort, every action is contributing to the bigger picture. Patience is not about waiting for something to happen. It's about trusting that your efforts, even the smallest ones, are moving you closer to your goal. And when the results do finally show up, you'll see that all that time, all that patience was worth it. So trust the process, keep going, even when it feels like nothing is changing. And remember, the most meaningful success comes not from rushing, but from allowing things to grow at their own pace. There's something we often overlook when we think about success. We focus so much on the goal itself, the big picture, the end result, that we forget to pay attention to the process that leads us there. We get caught up in the idea of the destination, imagining that once we arrive, everything will be perfect. But success isn't just about reaching the goal. It's about how we move through the journey step by step with intention and focus. The process is everything. It's the day-to-day actions, the small choices we make. that shape our future. Too many times we get so fixated on the idea of where we want to be that we forget to fully engage with where we are right now. We become so future focused that we overlook the present moment. But the reality is, every step we take today is an investment in the future we want to create. And if we don't focus on the process, we're missing out on the power of the moment. Every goal is reached through a series of small, deliberate actions. It's easy to think that the magic happens when you reach the big milestone, when you finally hit the finish line. But the truth is, the real work happens in the journey itself. It happens in the way you show up every single day, doing the hard things even when they don't seem glamorous or exciting. It's in the way you approach each task, no matter how small, with intention and purpose. Think about the things you've accomplished in your life. What stands out to you? I can almost guarantee that it's not just the moment of success that you remember. It's the journey you took to get there, the challenges you faced, the obstacles you overcame, and the quiet moments of progress that others may have overlooked. Success is a result of consistent effort, but it's also a result of how you approach each day, each task, each step. The problem is we live in a world that's obsessed with instant gratification. We want results right now, and we're not always willing to put in the time and effort needed to get there. We see others achieving their goals, and we start to wonder why it's taking us so long. But the truth is, no one achieves anything worthwhile without putting in the work. And the work doesn't always come in dramatic, life-changing moments. Often it's in the quiet, everyday actions that we don't even realize are shaping our future. If you want to achieve something meaningful, you need to stop focusing solely on the goal and start focusing on the process. How you approach each moment is what will determine your success. Are you showing up every day, even when it's hard? Are you making the small decisions that lead you in the right direction? Are you willing to put in the work, even when it feels like it's not paying off immediately? By focusing on the process, you remove the pressure of needing immediate results. You begin to trust in the journey, in the fact that every step you take is moving you closer to where you want to be. It takes the burden off the end goal and places it on the actions you take every single day. You start to see that the small things matter. The way you choose to spend your time, the way you show up for yourself and for others, these things matter more than you realize. And here's the beauty of it: when you focus on the process, the result will follow. The life you want to create will come not from obsessing over the end goal, but from committing to the actions that lead you there. The goal becomes a natural outcome of your consistent effort, your focus on the present moment, and your willingness to trust the journey. So don't just fixate on the end result. Embrace the process, knowing that it's the daily steps, the small decisions, and the quiet commitment to your work that will bring you closer to the life you want. Every moment counts, and the more you invest in the process, the more success will follow. The reality is, when we look at successful people, we often only see the final product. We see the polished result, the visible achievement, and we tend to think that success appeared out of nowhere. What we don't see is the quiet, often unseen effort that went into creating that result. The truth is, success is not just about the visible outcome, it's about the invisible work, the work that happens when no one is looking. That makes everything possible. This is something we need to remind ourselves of regularly. The work you do in silence is just as valuable, if not more, than the recognition you eventually receive. In fact, it's the silent work that builds the foundation for everything you will achieve. You can't skip these quiet, unseen moments if you want to create something of substance. The world may celebrate your achievements, but the real growth, the real change, happens when you're alone, working hard with no one watching or cheering you on. Think about it. When you commit to something meaningful, whether it's pursuing a goal, building a business, or improving yourself, the vast majority of the work is done when no one else is around to witness it. It's the late nights, the early mornings, the countless hours spent refining your skills, facing challenges, and overcoming obstacles. It's the moments when you're not looking for validation or applause, but instead are just doing the work because it matters to you. And these moments, though invisible to the outside world, are where success is truly born. Success isn't a light switch that gets flipped when you reach the end. It's a gradual process that happens in the small, often unnoticed actions. If you're only looking for the applause, the congratulations, and the validation, you'll miss out on the deeper, more meaningful rewards of the journey. The real satisfaction comes from knowing that you're putting in the effort when no one else is looking, when no one else expects anything from you. It's in these quiet moments that you build the discipline, the character, and the resilience that will carry you through the challenges that lie ahead. We live in a world that often values visibility over substance. We're encouraged to post our accomplishments, to share our successes, to make sure that everyone knows what we're doing. But this can be dangerous because when you focus too much on the recognition, you risk losing sight of what truly matters, the work itself. The moments when you're not seeking attention, The moments when you're focused purely on the task at hand are the moments that will truly define you. It's important to remember that success doesn't come from seeking the spotlight. It comes from putting in the hard work, from making progress when no one is watching, and from doing what needs to be done even when the results aren't immediate or visible. The results will come, but only if you're willing to do the quiet, invisible work that's required to get there. The work that no one sees is the work that shapes your future, the work that will ultimately determine your success. So, if you're in the middle of a journey and it feels like no one is noticing or acknowledging what you're doing, don't be discouraged. Don't let the absence of applause make you doubt the importance of the work you're putting in. Remember, the most valuable work is the work that happens in silence, in the moments when no one is watching. That's where the real magic happens. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, and trust that, in time, the results will speak for themselves. The success you desire is being built right now, in the quiet moments of effort that others may never see.